People who work at Subway and other sandwich places, what is the strangest order you've ever had from a customer? But before we get started, quick disclaimer, a lot of these stories are really gross. I was nauseous most of the time while making this video. You humans have some really nasty eating habits, so if you've just eaten or have a weak stomach like myself, maybe skip this video. And with that being said,
okay, take it away. Take it away. Take it away.
Take it away!
This one guy used to come into my sub shop at least twice a week. Always ordered a steak and cheese with extra ketchup. Except you couldn't put enough ketchup on it. We could use over half a bottle and he would still come back and ask for the bottle because packets took too much time. My town had a lot of foreign exchange students from South Korea and they would always order the meatball subs with scoops of seafood sensation, which was just mayo and imitation crab. Then have it toasted. It smelled horrible. Also had a guy that could barely talk. He was so high, wanted every sauce on his chicken bacon ranch. It was more soup by the end. Then he gets to the register and he remembers he doesn't have any money and walks away. My manager actually asked anyone if they wanted it. Worked the night shift for Subway during college. Had a regular come in at 3 AM usually that would request that we toast the it out of his sandwich. I'm talking the whole thing was basically charcoal. First time he came in, while I was on shift, I pulled his sandwich out of the toaster and he told me to put it back in, and again, and again. I thought he was a drunk guy ducking with me. Apparently he really liked the taste of burnt everything. Grossed me out, but as long as he paid I didn't really care.
Oh, I like it black.
You like it black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get it more toasted than that?
More toasted?
Yeah.
Okay. Got the fire department on speed dial, right? God damn. Bro. You want more toasted?
Could you toast it?
Don't work there anymore, but the one order that sticks out in my mind above everything else was one time a guy came in on the phone to order 2 sandwiches and he explained one was for his 7 months pregnant wife, so to please make it right, he has a list of exactly what she wants. So I made it exactly how it was written down, then made his, and he paid and all was good in the world. Then maybe 10 minutes later the phone rings, and I answer it, and there is this woman on the phone just screaming at me telling me I made her sandwich wrong, and how she wanted ranch instead of mayo and blah blah, and that she would send her husband in to get it remade. Yeah, no, full Karen minus the let me speak to the manager bit. So the guy comes back in, and I immediately recognize him, and he's apologizing profusely explaining that his wife is pregnant and hormones and whatnot, and I assured him I've been yelled at for less, it's no big deal, I'll remake it at no charge. He has the offending sandwich, I remake it right and throw the old one away, and as I'm ringing up the order, even though it was free it still had to be rung up at $0 for bread count. Accuracy, the phone rings. So I hand the man his sandwich and answer the phone, and there is this woman on the phone hysterically crying on the other end. And so I ask if she's alright, and she informs me that she called earlier and she felt horrible about yelling at me because she realized she wrote it down wrong and it wasn't my fault, and the whole time I'm just awkwardly telling her that it's okay, no big deal, we got it taken care of, you're okay, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And then she, still sobbing, asks me straight up, do you forgive me? And I said it's all good, no worries, and she said no, do you forgive me? And I said yeah, don't worry about it, and she asked again, but do you forgive me? And I replied yes, I forgive you, have a great night ma'am. After which she hung up. I still remember that even 7 years later, because it was the only time I've ever had a customer call back not only to apologize, but crying about it as well. Ironically, for the question, I don't actually remember what the specific sandwich was. I wanna say it was an oven roasted chicken breast, but I truly am just taking a shot in the dark. Pregnancy is a hell of a drug. Worked at a Subway and a guy ordered a meatball sub, no sauce, but with copious amounts of vinegar. Also worked at a Sonic and had multiple times where a lady ordered tomato sandwiches. Just tomatoes and a bun. I worked at a Burger King my junior year of high school, not a sandwich shop, but play along. I was on a specialty board, chicken and fish mainly. This order came through for an original chicken with HHHHH mayo. H in the training stood for heavy or extra. I asked my manager if it was a typo, and they said no, this guy comes in once a week for that sandwich. I swear, by the time my manager said the sandwich was proper, the mayo was thicker than the chicken patty itself. I felt like I needed to bathe afterwards. Was getting breakfast at this place, called the Great Canadian Bagel Company. The girl ahead of us gets a breakfast sandwich with extra mayo and then says, like a serious amount of mayo, more than you think is comfortable. The guy does a solid 4 servings, and she shakes her head in disgust and shame and is like, no, I'm actually messed up. I need more mayo. Took everything in me not to laugh as it happened. At least she knew she had a problem. We had frozen egg discs that we were supposed to heat in the oven. I say egg, but really it was more of a frozen circle of egg whites with a yellow piece on the middle that may or may not be missing depending on luck of the draw. This guy would come in every shift I had and order just the egg circle, but didn't want us to heat it up. We handed him hard, frozen, disgusting looking discs that sounded like rocks when banged against the counter. Covered in ice flakes. He barely spoke English, so the first time he showed up we were very confused to say the least, but once we understood he was very happy with his egg hockey pucks. I worked at a Subway a long time ago, and a guy would order 2 full bags of lettuce on his sandwich every day. Imagine 2 pounds of lettuce on some bread. He would order often enough that I knew to go in the back and grab 2 full bags just for him.
Lettuce and tomato?
Yes, please. And could I also get spinach, cucumbers, onions, both the white and the purple, please? Pickles and bell peppers, cheese, both shredded and sliced, obviously.
Sweet. Is that it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could I get a little more lettuce, please? Give me more lettuce. All right, just a little more lettuce, please. Sir, am I gonna have to call your manager? I want more lettuce. Perfect. Just wrap it on up and I'll be on my merry way.
All right. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Eat fresh.
I worked at Subway many years ago. There was a couple that would come in semi-regularly, and she wanted just a double helping of American cheese on white bread. No veggies, no condiments, just cheese. I never charged her for extra cheese, since I figured the veggies she wasn't getting offset it. Eventually she started asking for more and more cheese, until it was easily 10 times what came on it. She must have been bummed when I quit. That cheese sandwich would have cost about $10 if someone who gave her it rang it up. I was at a Subway last month and waited in line behind an older guy who ordered 2 of that exact cheese sandwich, not even toasted, just cold cheese on plain bread. The sandwich artist looked confused and kept asking if he was sure, and the guy kept saying, yes, that's what she wants. I'm sorry, lol. What can I get for you? I'll get a 6-inch honey wheat. Just condiments. Just condiments? Just condiments. All of them, if you don't mind. That day ruled. I worked at a Subway next to the shadiest motel in town, and hookers would come in all the time. For the most part they were fine, but one lady would come in and get the cold cut combo and ask for oil on it. I always loved watching new employees make her food because of the look of amusement, turning to confusion, turning to horror as she demanded more oil. Empty the bottle on this sandwich and she'd get all huffy and rudely ask you to refill it. And keep going. By the time you were done, the bread was so saturated with oil that it just mushed apart. If you tried to touch it, you had to use the paper to try and topple the oily mess into a vaguely sub-shaped blob and roll it up fast before it leaked everywhere. I always wished she'd stay in the lobby to eat it just once, so I could be sure she really intended to use it as food, but she always shuffled back to the motel to have her oily feast. Not an order, but my boyfriend had a customer come in with a Kermit the Frog puppet. The customer spoke through the puppet, had my boyfriend hand the change to the puppet, and also slide the sandwich to the puppet. Not a sandwich shop, but I was a pizza maker for years at a pretty nice restaurant. Think Orbis but local owned and French trained head chef. Anyway, a bus full of special needs folks and their helpers came in one day kind of in between lunch and dinner like about 2:30ish. They all order food and are having a great time. Italian music blasting. Delicious homemade bread at the table. Everyone's having a great time. The order comes to me. Nothing too memorable except for this one specific pie. Small cheese pizza. No cheese. No sauce. I check with the server. Yep, that's what he requested. No oil. No nothing. So I make it. One beautiful fresh made dough ball expertly tossed and shaped into a small pizza. I stay on top of it in the oven, popping all the little bubbles that rise up and push them back down flat. It finishes and I cut it into 6 slices. She brings it to the table. The chef wants me to go out and make sure everyone is enjoying their meal. I go. The gentleman eating that unique pizza is ecstatic. Tells me and the whole restaurant that this is the best pizza he's ever had, and I truly believe he meant it. This was about 20 years ago, and I think about that table often. I've cooked and sold thousands of pizzas and that was my most memorable for sure. I hope that guy is doing well, and I hope he is still trying all the pizzas this world has to offer. Worked at Subway. This 50-year-old trucker asked me to toast a tuna sandwich, put extra pickles, and sprinkle 2 Splendor packages on top. That was all the sandwich had. My dad puts grape jelly on his tuna sandwiches. I had to cut extra holes in Swiss cheese for an 8-year-old. Been the strangest request since we opened in 2007. Edit. Thanks for the love here everyone. The fact that you did it makes you a much nicer person than I am. Back in high school, I worked at the local Subway every night. 30 minutes to an hour before close, this large African American man built like an NFL linebacker would come in, and no matter how many or what kinds, would clean out whatever was left of our cookies for the night. 2 oatmeal raisins, a dozen chocolate chip, a smattering of everything, didn't matter. He purchased every single cookie left and leave. We nicknamed him Cookie Monster.
Well, these cookies fucking rockin'. These cookies is good. Good? These Subway cookies is fucking good. Give me 2 more. Give me 2 more. They good. Give me 2 more. They rockin'. Give me 2 more.
At McDonald's, a guy came in and said he had lost a bet and as a result had to order a double cheeseburger with 17 extra patties and bacon and cheese between each patty. I don't remember how much it cost, but we had to tape several wrappers together just to cover it up and keep it sort of together. I think we gave him a knife and fork to eat it with. I'd love to know the specifics of this bet. Why stop at 19 patties when you could go for a nice even 20? Nah, that just sounds excessive. Not a sandwich story, but in high school I worked at the movie theater. This dude asked for extra butter on his popcorn, so I squirted his butter on while giving him the nod, but it wasn't enough. He kept asking for more, and I was a little asshole, so I kept going. After the movie, dude walked out and had a massive butter stain in his dick area on his pants. I was very proud of myself. Another time this dude wanted butter in his Crunch Bits chocolate box, so I put butter in and watched him drink the butter chocolate mix. Nope, don't understand why out of everything this was the one that makes me gag.
Nothing came up. I wish something would have.
Not a Subway employee, but I was once standing behind a guy that said, "Just F me up with olives," and the woman working behind the counter proceeded to put 2 handfuls of olives on a 6-inch sub and the bloke goes perfect. Very strange. Worked at Subway and had a customer ask me for guacamole. She insisted I'd give her the guac without avocados. I explained there's no such thing. Then she pulled a Karen and asked for the manager. The manager explained what we all already know. The lady got louder and pointed at a pic on her phone she took the last time she ordered it. The picture was of pico de gallo. That, ladies and gents, was her avocado-free guacamole. I took great joy explaining guac and pico de gallo to Karen of Subway and why they made 2 words to describe 2 different items. Facepalm level infinite. I worked at a Jimmy John's and someone wanted a tuna sandwich with barbecue on it. Sounded gross, and we didn't have barbecue anyway. Later we randomly tried adding barbecue chips on top of a tuna sub, just to see what it was like. It was bomb. It's now my go-to order. I still haven't tried actual barbecue sauce, but now I understand the flavor combo at least. Edit. Due to the high volume of comments, I felt compelled to order Jimmy John's this afternoon. Tuna sandwich with lettuce, a little oil and vinegar, bacon, pickles, barbecue chips to put on it, and some kicking ranch. This is all y'all's fault. Add chips to almost any sub for a +1 experience. Worked at a barbecue place that mostly sold sandwiches. I worked the caller headphones for a while, and we had a customer call up and ask us if we could put the entire sandwich combo, sides and all, through a blender. Poor guy had jaw surgery and hadn't eaten anything but fruit smoothies for almost a month. We didn't even own a blender, but it was one of those never say no to the customer places, and I could literally get written up for refusing a request. I got my manager on the line who tried his best to explain exactly how grotesque his order was, but the guy wouldn't budge. Long story short, we bought a blender. I worked at a Subway for a couple months after high school. While working there I had a very polite customer, who was pregnant at the time, come in every other week or so, and order the same foot-long ham sandwich. What made this sandwich so strange was that she would ask for a ton of black olives, like multiple, whole handfuls of black olives, so much that it was hard to close up and wrap the sandwich without some olives spilling out. Some of my co-workers would only give her so much before they refused to add more. There were no rules to my knowledge stating a limit on the amount of black olives a customer could request, so I always obliged. Knowing this, she would refuse help from my co-workers and wait for me to make her foot-long black olive sandwich. She would always comment that it was something she started ordering after becoming pregnant, and it was the baby that wanted the olives. Some time had passed where I didn't see her come in anymore, until one day, I see her walk in with a stroller and her brand new baby daughter. She brought her in so I could meet the olive baby. She thanked me for all the times I made her olive sandwich just the way she liked it, and then proceeded to order a ham sandwich, only this time, she asked for just a few olives. I quit a short time after, but I still think about that sandwich and the olive baby from time to time.
Have you met my firstborn son, Avocado?
Thank you so much for watching. If you managed to make it all the way to the end of the video, I just want to say, sorry, I went into this topic so naive. I've been sick the past few days watching Subway videos and vomit reactions. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I hated making this one. I'll make sure to steer away from food related topics for my next video. Thanks again, and please sure to like and subscribe for more.